Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're enjoying lunch and also hopefully enjoying the conference so far. We're about midway through, so hopefully you're getting some nutrients to fulfill your bodies for the rest of the day and into tomorrow. My name is Layne Scherer. I am a program director at AAAS and very happy to be here. This is my first conference with STEM, and so it's been a really lovely experience so far. We are going to have a really wonderful panel today to increase the awareness of opportunities and research experiences that can help you all become future leaders in STEM. As you are listening to these conversations, we will have Q&A at the end, and I am going to ask each of you to write down the name of the person that you would like to ask the question to. As you can see, we have a really robust and wonderful group here, but we cannot have all of them answering every single question. They will be available if you have a question later or you wanted to ask a question to multiple people. You will be able to connect with them either over the guidebook app or they will be available for they'll be around so you can find them. But just really try to make sure that your questions are looking to a specific person. That is my recommendation. So we are going to be having flash talks. So we're going to have 3 minutes for each speaker. And we can go ahead and queue up the slides for our first speaker. And our first speaker is Shonda Gilliland, the Director of Operations and Coordination. Shonda is a member of the Senior Leadership Team for the Science and Technology Policy Fellowships and the Mass Media Fellowships Program at AAAS. And so, Shonda, please take it away.
Great, thank you. Do we need to turn this on, or is it already
on? It should, try it, give it a shot.
Can you guys hear me?
There we go.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm delighted to be here. And thank you, Layne, for the introduction. Like she said, I'm the Director of Operations for AAAS's Immersive Fellowships programs. And the one that I'm here to talk about today is the Mass Media Science and Engineering Fellowship. So this program is structured, let me do this. There it is. This program provides an immersive summer experience from June to August for scientists and places them in newsrooms around the country, including one Spanish language placement in Puerto Rico. The mission of the program is to help scientists translate research into digestible information for the public through the news. The newsrooms benefit from having the fellows' scientific expertise, and then the public benefits from thoughtful and clear reporting on scientific issues that matter to them. So we see that as win-win-win. Current STEM students and postdocs are eligible, so anywhere from late undergrad all the way to postdoc, as well as recent graduates, as well as U.S. citizens and visa holders are eligible to apply. And so this program can't provide status if you're not a U.S. citizen, but if you're already here and able to receive payment, you are eligible. There we go. As I mentioned, fellows are placed at media outlets like the Idaho Statesman, NPR, The Conversation. This is just a few examples of the articles that fellows have published. I was fortunate to meet and engage with last year's cohort of 20 fellows, and they were incredible. They were also productive. Last year, they published collectively 20 fellows over 10 weeks, more than 275 articles, and of those, almost 40 were above the fold, as they say. So that's front page news on papers like the LA Times, the Washington Post. You probably read some of their articles and didn't even realize these were science students that were writing them. Applications are currently open with a deadline for January 1st for the fellowships to take place in the summer of 2025. The application consists of general questions on interest and background, and also requires a couple of writing samples, a non-technical writing sample, and then we have candidates write a sample news story based on a scientific journal article from the previous 6 months, and not one that you've written. Lastly, I'll just say that the Mass Media Fellowship in 2025 is celebrating its 50th anniversary. It's been around for a while. And those fellows that are selected for this next cohort will join almost 900 alumni. So that's very cool. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share this program with you today, and I'm excited to answer questions.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Dr. Coit Hendley is one of the Deputy Program Managers for the Smart Scholarship for Service program in the Basic Research Office in the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering on detail from the Naval Surface Warfare Center Indian Head Division. Please take it away, Dr. Hendley.
Thank you. So I'm with the Defense Department, as you could tell by the paragraph-long title in the introduction there. So I'm with the Smart Scholarship for Service program, which is a Department of Defense program that funds bachelor's, master's, and PhD STEM degrees, including full tuition and a stipend ranging from $30,000 to $46,000 a year, depending on degree level. And in exchange, awardees serve time in the Department of Defense for however long we pay for. So in my case, I'm a Smart Scholar from 2010. Smart paid for my junior and senior year of my bachelor degree in material science. And then I served my first 2 years of federal service at my sponsoring facility, which is the Naval Surface Warfare Center Indian Head, where I've stayed and started my career through the DoD. So I want to just provide a quick background for where we sit in the Office of the Undersecretary of Defense for Research and Engineering. So we sit in the Basic Research Office, which has policy oversight over all basic research activities for DoD. It's about a $3 billion portfolio, primarily invested in academia. And the part of that that's most relevant for us is the workforce development and really developing and funding the next generation of STEM workforce that's going to transform the DoD. And so a significant part of that Basic Research Office is DoD STEM. And so DoD STEM has oversight over all of DoD STEM activities from K to gray, as we say. And so they have kindergarten programs, programming, scholarship programs, internship programs. I'd encourage all of you that are interested to take a look at the DoD STEM website, where it has a list of resources for teachers, for students, and for universities. And then at the top end of that, more towards the gray side, is where SMART comes in with the undergraduate and graduate degrees. So you have to be a US citizen to be eligible. You can be a dual citizen, and you can also be a citizen of one of what we call the 5I countries, so the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. You have to obtain and maintain a security clearance, as well as a 3.0 GPA. You can attend any university that's US accredited, and like I said, there's no cap on tuition funding. We fund any degree, any tuition, and you get a stipend ranging from $30,000 to $46,000 a year. You also have an internship experience throughout your academic career, where each summer you spend working at one of our DoD facilities, of which we're partnered with about 120 to 150 on any given year. And then when you're completed your academic career, you start your career with the Defense Department at that facility where you've completed your internship. So happy to be here and happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Hendley. Next, we have Dr. Rama Bala, who is a physicist, scholar, educator, mentor, and social entrepreneur. She is the president and CEO of Chance to Change Lives, and we would love to welcome you to begin your comments.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do I advance this?
Yes, you can advance.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here, and I want to bring to you information about a couple of student research opportunities and scholarships and fellowships. So the first one that I want to talk to you is about the Barry Goldwater Scholarship. I had served as a faculty representative for the Barry Goldwater Scholarship, reviewing applications and facilitating student applications as they go through their journey in applying for this premier fellowship. It's a national fellowship. It pays $7,500 that can be used towards tuition, books, and all educational expenses. It is primarily open to sophomores and juniors, the students apply for the scholarship through an institutional nomination. So if your home institution has a campus representative, I would encourage you to go talk to them. The deadline for applying for the scholarship is typically the last Friday in January. But different campuses have their own internal deadline. And this is a competitive national scholarship. The minimum GPA requirement is 3.0. And they receive about 5,000 applications every year, and roughly about 400 or so is awarded. So it's a highly competitive, impactful scholarship opportunity. And what this scholarship looks for is a strong commitment for research careers. So this would mean after your undergraduate journey, you are committed to pursuing a PhD level research and be a future scientist, contribute to the research enterprise at all levels. And the application process, let me just go back 1 second. So it's a 3-tiered application process as we reviewed the applications. The first is an internal application process. Different institutions have different nomination criteria. So go talk to your campus representative or reach out to your faculty advisor who can help you navigate the internal nomination process. And then the student application itself has a personal statement, a research statement, as well as letters of recommendation. And once when the student is done with their part, they would submit their application to the internal committee, which would then nominate them. And the next fellowship that I want to talk about is a newly launched STEMedX fellowship. This is designed for students attending 2- and 4-year primarily undergraduate institutions, as well as research non-R1 schools. This is to promote undergraduate research, both locally as well as regionally, and we offer fellowship experience as well as up to $5,000 in research funding for summer research.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bala. We do have to move to the next, so do you have a final statement for everyone?
So please stop by the booth on Goldwater and STEMedX if you wanted to know more about this fellowship.
Thank you so much. Up next is Dr. Brandy Kine at the U.S. Department of Energy, Office of Science. Dr. Kine serves as the program manager of the Community College Internships, Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internships, and Visiting Faculty Program in the Office of Workforce Development for teachers and scientists at the U.S. Department of Energy. Please take it away.
Greetings, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see all of your amazing faces. My name is Dr. Brandy Keene, and I'm going to give you some details about the different opportunities available to you at the U.S. Department of Energy, sponsored by the Office of Science. The Office of Science is the largest supporter of basic physical science research in the nation, larger than any other federal agency. We have a budget of about $8.1 billion. Our research is linked to material science, chemistry, computing, physics, you name it. If it's in physical science, we've got it. I'm not going to linger too much on what we do because I want you to go and visit our website and learn a little bit more about the Office of Science. This particular slide shows you where our laboratories are located. The Department of Energy has 17 national laboratories. This is where your opportunities will be located, 16 of the 17 of them. So you can look at the map and see where they're located, because I know some of you may like to stay in certain regions of the country. So I want to show this slide just so you get an idea of where you may be if you decide to apply to any of our programs. So why do we offer these programs? We offer these programs, as you can see, is because we have a lot of laboratories. We want to make sure that we have a diverse workforce who can be able to sustain the work that's happening by the Office of Science's Department of Energy. The Office of Science, again, as I said, had several different research missions. We have these workforce development programs that include 2 for undergraduates, community college internships. So if there's any community college students, this program is for you. This is for those individuals who would like to have a technical career or would like to continue on and get their education at a 4-year institution. We also have the Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internships. This program is for students who are at 2- and 4-year institutions who would like to have an authentic research experience. Notice the difference between the two. One is for technical careers, one is for research careers. Also, this opportunity is open to those of you who are recent graduates. Recent graduates meaning you have graduating with your associate's degree or your bachelor's degree, and it has to be within 2 years of you graduating. Now, there are other opportunities listed here, but in the essence of time, I'm not going to go through them. I'll let you read about them on your own. Now, focusing on just the 2 programs that I've talked about, what are the eligibility requirements? First, you must be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident. You must be enrolled full-time if you're applying to the Science Undergraduate Laboratory Internship. We just made a change this year where you can be a part-time and apply to the community college internships. You must have completed 12 credit hours, and 6 of them must be in a STEM field. You must have a 3.0 GPA. And I'm gonna stop there. These are all paid opportunities, so that includes a living wage, assistance with lodging, and also assistance with commuting. We currently have an announcement open for the summer. It will close on January the 8th, 2025 at 5:00 p.m. And also I want to invite you to join us to network with our national laboratories where you can learn about what it's like to actually have one of these appointments at a national laboratory. So we have our internship fair coming up on November 14th. Here's the details here. And last but not least, we also offer several application assistance workshops. The recordings are available on this site. As you can see, we have some coming up. I encourage you to get that QR code. That's going to get you all the information you need. And you can come by and visit us at our booth. And thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Keene. We will also be posting these slides, and so if you can't grab those QR codes fast enough, don't worry, we will make these all available to you so you can have all the information at your fingertips. Next, we want to invite Lindsay Eilitz, who is the Department of Energy CSGF Computational Science Graduate Fellowship Program Manager at the Krell Institute. Please take it away.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. My name is Lindsay Eilitz. I'm the program manager at Krell Institute, where we manage 3 federally funded Department of Energy programs. I'm going to talk very quickly and try to get through all 3 programs, so bear with me. Please come visit me at booth number 13 after this event, and we can talk in greater length. Also, please note the QR codes at the top of the screen here, where you can get some greater detail on each of these fellowship programs. The first fellowship managed by Krell is the Department of Energy Computational Science Graduate Fellowship. This is open to U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents who are senior undergraduates, students in their first year of graduate school, or those matriculating into graduate school by fall of 2025, who are looking to pursue a PhD in any type of computational STEM research field. This includes a $45,000 annual stipend, payment of full tuition, all mandatory fees and health insurance, a CSGF annual program review, a $1,000 annual academic allowance, a 12-week on-site practicum at one of our DOE national laboratories, a program of study that will encourage some breadth and depth in your career or academic trajectory, funded attendance to the supercomputing conference each year, and access to DOE supercomputing resources at NERSC. The fellowship is renewable for up to 4 years. I will be hosting an application Q&A webinar on Thursday, December 10th at 1:30 p.m. Central that you can register for. Although the Stewardship Science Graduate Fellowship and the Laboratory Residency Graduate Fellowships are 2 separate programs, they are managed and administered together to support students who are pursuing a PhD in some type of stewardship science. Both SSGF and LRGF are open to U.S. citizens. The defining factors that separate these 2 programs are academic status eligibility and the practicum obligations. The SSGF is open to senior undergraduate students, first-year graduate students, and second-year graduate students, and anyone who is matriculating into graduate school by fall of 2025. The LRGF is open to students who are in their first year or later pursuing a PhD and do not intend to graduate prior to February 1st of 2027. Both these programs, again, have really great benefits of $45,000 annual stipend, payment of full tuition, all mandatory fees, and student-only health insurance. The SSGF and the LRGF program reviews are held jointly each summer. $2,000 annual academic allowance. The SSGF requires 1 12-week on-site practicum at one of our DOE National Defense Laboratories, and the LRGF requires 2 12-week residencies at one of our DOE National Defense Laboratories. The SSGF program review encourages breadth and depth in a student's academic career, and the LRGF does not require a program of study. There is an application Q&A webinar that will be taking place on Thursday, November 14th at 1 p.m. Central for both of these programs. Okay, and if you're looking for more information about the folks in our incredible community and are interested in reading about their graduate journeys in STEM research, I encourage you to look through our publications and our social media pages. And again, visit with me at booth number 13 after this event, and we can talk in more detail. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Daniel Liukwane, who is an assistant professor at Northwestern University and a 2010 Hertz Fellow, and he is going to talk about his Hertz Fellowship experience. Please take it away.
Great, thank you very much. So yes, I'm Daniel LeCornet. I'm here kind of in two capacities. First, to give my testimonial as a Hertz Fellow, but also to just say more about the fellowship, especially as I'm involved with the admissions. Let's see. So just a little bit about me. So I did my undergrad at University of Wisconsin. Then I spent a year studying in Cambridge as a Churchill Scholar. And then I did my PhD at Berkeley through a Hertz Fellowship and also an NSF Graduate Student Fellowship. And the thing that's very important about the Hertz Fellowship is that it gives you funding for 5 years. So that's the full PhD. And our motto is freedom to innovate. Because you are completely funded, you do not need to get any funding from your advisor. And for me, that was very important because it allowed me to branch out from beyond what my advisor did and kind of start my own research path. I took advantage of that and kind of built an international collaboration of people that I'm still working with today. So a little bit more about the fellowship. As I mentioned, it's 5 years. I'm not sure what the stipend is this year, but I felt like when I was a grad student, I was getting paid more than anyone else. The main thing we're looking for is creativity in research and in technical skills. When I'm reading applications, I really want to see how people talk about the research that they've done, or in some cases, it's not necessarily a research project, or it could be some other technical project that people did, like building some device. The way that the applications work is that there's initially a paper application. Every year we get about 700 applications. And I think this year the application deadline has already passed. So this is for people kind of looking in the future, could apply next year. We get about 700 applications. Of those, we select about 100 for an interview. Then, based off that, we give about 35 to 40 applicants a second interview, of which about 15 fellows are chosen each year. So it narrows down quite a lot. But I want to say these interviews, these are technical interviews, and I think that that is a great opportunity to be able to take part in one of these interviews. For me personally, it actually changed the course of my career. Before my interview, I wanted to study plasma physics, and then through the discussion, I actually changed my mind. The interviewer convinced me that that was not a good idea, and now I do astrophysics. There's a bit more information on this slide where you can get more information about the fellowship, and we do also have a booth here. And I'm happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next, we have Ruth Farmer, who is the founder and CEO of the Last Mile Education Fund. Please give it a go.
Thank you for that, and I just have to congratulate. This is the most diverse room I've ever seen at a STEM conference in 20 years, so congratulations. So the Last Mile Education Fund is a nationwide safety net fund aimed at closing the graduation gap among striving students in high-demand STEM fields. So our idea is, if you've made it to your junior year, we need you to finish. If money's a barrier, we're going to help you with that. We have been operating since 2020. We've invested over $10 million. I think that number is now 10.3 million because I made these slides 2 weeks ago. And in over now 8,500 individual students. And unlike a scholarship, we are actually not competitive. We look at every student as an individual, and we fund every student who is eligible. And you can apply any day, year-round. Applications are rolling. And we have 3 core funding opportunities. So basically an emergency grant can get you in a few days if you're in a crisis. That's $595. We send you a link, you ACH it to your bank account or get a virtual MasterCard and off you go. If you're needing more money, like say your laptop broke down or a car repair, something potentially catastrophic to your degree is in your way, we'll do a quick interview and interview you. And then we have what we call last mile awards, which are you're a senior, you've run out the clock on financial aid, there's some barrier to you finishing. We're gonna give you that money to get you over the finish line. And this happens pretty fast. I think we can turn it around typically in less than 30 days. Wow. And so we pay for all the things that are not educational expenses. So we pay for rent, we pay for gas, childcare. We have paid for 4 cremations when a student lost a parent. Sometimes life gets in the way, and you have done so much hard work to get here and overcome so many things. Having you fail over something as stupid as a few $1,000s is just nonsensical. And so we're trying to completely shift the paradigm of who has potential, who's worth investment, and getting people over that, that last mile. So you can learn more at our booth. Our eligibility is really based on the money that we have received. So most of the money we have received right now is in the computer science and IT kind of realm. We do have a very large fund with applied materials for women going into semiconductor pathways. And then we recently received some additional funding to focus on making research experiences more accessible. So if you are considering a research experience for next summer, but making so little money compared to an internship is a barrier for you, research experiences pay less than working at Target. So we will make up the difference between what you're going to be offered by your school and $10,000. So come see us at booth 14.
That's incredibly important work, and I am really thankful that you're here to share more information about that. Next, we have Tiffany Hill, a Chicago native, who serves as the press yeah, give a round of applause for Chicago, right? Yeah. Tiffany serves as the Press, Public Affairs, and Projects Officer at the British Consulate-General in Chicago. Please.
I do. Thank you. Very happy to be here. Thank you for that introduction. I just want to say, first of all, this program needs no selling. I mean, the Marshall Scholarship Program, I think it really lives up to its name. I think it provides everything that a scholarship program should provide. There's so much to be said. We're actually in the thick of the selection process right now. So we'll be interviewing candidates next week. I'm very excited about that. But the Marshall Scholarship Program is much more than an academic opportunity. I mean, it really is transformative. It's an experience that fosters leadership, understanding, cultural understanding, and enduring ties between the UK and the US. Sorry, I'm just clicking away here. And so it really is a rare opportunity. I mean, it allows for top US students to study abroad in the UK, fully funded, by the way. You can pursue any degree in any field, but particular to you guys, you can pursue STEM studies, and you'll have all these opportunities. I mean, there's full financial support. It covers tuition, room and board, living expenses, travel, research, all the things. You have these academic and institutional flexibility study groups. You have access to lifelong alumni support groups and professional circles. So it really is a beneficial program. And I think that it's one that I would have definitely taken advantage of in undergrad had I known that the opportunity existed. But who should apply? So US students with a 3.7 GPA minimum, you have completed your undergraduate studies, you demonstrate academic excellence, obviously, you have leadership potential, you have a strong commitment to the field, and you have a desire to positively influence UK and US relations. And I think, I mean, when it comes down to scholarship programs, you really want to pursue a degree in any field that you feel connected to, that you feel deeply passionate about. And so this is one I think everyone in this room should explore, because it really allows for students to sort of build out their experience in another country, but you're also gaining that cultural understanding piece that I think a lot of other programs oftentimes miss. And lastly, I'll just say, I think for most scholarship programs, this is probably true, but it's important to showcase your commitment to making a positive impact through STEM, obviously, but also be able to explain not only why you want to study, but also how this experience will sort of empower you to contribute to the broader perspective of your program. And there are a lot of other things. I could go on and on and on about the Marshall Scholarship Program, so if you want to chat more about it, feel free to come up to me. We'll have a booth and we'll be able to talk about all the things, I promise.
Wonderful. Next, we have Dr. Christy Porter, who is the Managing Director and Director of Recruitment of the National Institutes of Health, Oxford, Cambridge, OxCam Scholars Program, and the NIH MD PhD Partnership Program. Please.
Thank you for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. The NIH Oxford Cambridge Scholars Program is a partnership program that offers PhD training in the biomedical sciences. The way the program is structured, each student has 2 research advisors, one advisor based at the NIH, a second advisor either at the University of Oxford or the University of Cambridge in the UK. The program is structured as a 4-year program. Yes, 4-year PhD, all right? We ask each student to split their time evenly between the 2 labs. So that means 2 years physically at your NIH lab, 2 years in the UK laboratory. 3 reasons to select the NIH OxCam program. 1, it is individualized. That means you can study any area of the biomedical sciences, whether that's microbiology, immunology, vaccine development, does not matter, okay? Students can pick a prearranged project, or they can simply create their own de novo project based on their own individual research interests. You can choose cancer biology, or you can mix and match, do infectious diseases, and combine that with epidemiology. The world is your oyster. Second reason is it is fully funded. Yes, fully funded. That means we cover tuition fees, stipend, insurance. We even help cover the flights and the bags when you move to the UK and then also back to the US. We reimburse for the cost of the visa. Lastly, accelerated. I said 4-year program, no laboratory rotations, no required coursework. You can take classes if you like. They are just not built into the structure of the program. No teaching requirements, okay? So that means you come into the program, hit the ground running, doing your PhD research. What's also interesting is we can combine the OxCam PhD program with a US-based medical school, DO program, PharmD, any clinical degree program for students who have an interest in dual degree training. The way it's set up, you apply to your individual programs of interest. You also apply to our program. There is the MSPP Individual Fellowship that will give money from the NIH to you to offset the cost of your clinical degree training. Again, the PhD is fully funded. We recommend that any student that has an interest in biomedical research apply, particularly those who have significant research experience and love the idea of perhaps living in 2 different places to perform their PhD research and dissertation training, okay? Applications are open now. Application is free, no GRE required. We have a booth, number 18, and so please come talk to me if you have questions. Also, we have informational webinars that are ongoing now. The next one is Wednesday at noon. Happy to take questions later. Thank you, everyone.
All right, so we're coming up on our last presentation. I would like you to take note if you do have questions where the microphones are in the room. So if you are interested in answering a question, you can go there. I will also be monitoring guidebook for questions if you are unable to get up and ask a question at one of the mics. But last but not least, we have Dr. Nacretia Norman, who is a program director in the Division of Graduate Education within the Directorate for STEM Education at the National Science Foundation. Please take it away.
Hi, everyone, and welcome. Glad to see you all here today. There's no way to list all the opportunities at NSF. I mean, we have opportunities for high school students all the way to researchers at labs. So I would suggest if you wanted to know all the opportunities at NSF, you look at nsf.gov. Another important thing I want to mention is that the reason why we're talking to so many undergraduates about graduate school is because you have your opportunity now to start preparing for what your graduate school application will look like. So our application deadline is in October, which means that you will have almost a full year to start to look at our website, nsfgrfp.org, to see what you may or may not be missing in the application and start to strengthen yourself. So this is our summary slide. It kind of lists everything, but some things you should know is that we're looking at the overall application. So there's no GRFP, there's no, There's no GPA requirement, and we look at different levels of education. So say that you're a senior, that means you would be a level 1, which technically is not listed here, but level 1 applicants, as long as you have no graduate classes so far, can apply to many times as GRFP as long as you're level 1. Once you become level 2, which means you have just started your first year of graduate school, or level 3, your second year, that means you can only apply once. If you've been out of school for 2 years, we also have level 4, which means you can apply to level 4 as long as you fit in that category. Some good things to know about GRFP, because I usually do this like an hour presentation, but we have the eligibility questionnaire. So you're curious about your eligibility, you can go to the NSF, grfp.org to see if you're eligible. So you still have questions after taking the eligibility questionnaire. We have a whole team that works on answering that questions. So when you go to that website to say, okay, I'm sure, and I'm still not sure, then you could contact us and we'll do specific answers to your specific questions. We do a lot of outreach throughout the year, so you can also find some of our outreach opportunities on that website. You'll also find what we're looking for and what the reviewers will be looking for your application. So GRFP is a 5-year fellowship. 3 of those years are funded. That's a $37,000 stipend for each of those 3 years, and cost of education allowance. What that means is the reason we give 5 years because there are so many other opportunities, and some at NSF, that you can do opportunities between those funded years. So you have 5 years to finish. Say you have 1 year, you finished your master's in 1 year, you have 2 years left. You can still take that 2 years worth of funding on to your next degree. Something else that I wanted to quickly mention, since all the information is pretty much here, is that when you think about going to graduate school, say you're not so sure if you want to go, you want to apply or not, isn't it so much better to have that fellowship money in your pocket to say, okay, I can say no to this and move on to another opportunity instead of getting to that point at the very end where you didn't have a choice? My time is up, but quickly I will say that this opportunity was built off the fact that we have a lot of honorable mentions from GRFP. So we have built in another opportunity. If you don't get funded by GRFP, there's another opportunity to apply for funding. Deadline's October. That's all. Thank you.
Great. Well, now is going to be the time for questions and answers. So again, when you get to a mic, please state your name, the institution that you're from, and then who you are directing the question to. While we're waiting for people to get to the mics, we do have 2 questions on Guidebook. Hello, this question is for Dr. Farmer. I would like to know if scholarships are available for dental schools.
Not yet, but I'm glad that you asked this, because one of the things that is really helpful to us is to be able to demonstrate demand to the funding community. So if I get a lot of applications from dental students, I can take that data and I can go to Delta and be like, give me $400,000 and I can make sure all these students graduate. So if you, I would encourage you all to apply, because that demonstrates demand that enables us to go and raise the money to help you.
Great. We'll do one more question from Guidebook and then we'll turn it to the audience. My question is about the DOE GSCF Fellowship. Would a dual enrollment student be eligible once they are a full-time PhD student? Would pharmacology or pharmaceutical science programs qualify?
Is that me? Okay. Also, the CSGF. No, and unfortunately, dual enrollment is not allowed. You have to be a PhD student only in order to be eligible.
Great. So we're going to start with the front mic. I believe that's a pink shirt?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Sumanelli Torres. I'm from Dominican University in Illinois, and my question was for Dr. Brandy Keene. So since you have experience with the Department of Energy and national labs, and I was really curious as to what are these scientists like? What's the environment like? Like, this is my ideal career goal, and this is what I want to pursue, and I really want to know what's it like being there.
Oh, that's an amazing question. So I don't work directly at the labs, but I'm going to give you the experience of what I have heard from the interns and just my interactions. Now, I don't want to seem like I have a bias as well, because you may say, of course you're going to say all wonderful things. But what our students say after they've had an internship at the national laboratories is that their mentors, so they consider, they're scientists, but they're their mentors. So they say like, oh, I had an amazing experience at the national laboratory because of my mentor. And because of them, I've decided that A, I'm going to, of course, finish my degree if they're still in school. But B, maybe I consider a career at a national laboratory. Also, now that I have this relationship with them and I like the work that I'm working on, they now have put me in contact with, a collaborator that maybe they have at a university, and now I desire to, work with that collaborator on a project for my potential PhD or master's. Also, we provide a lot of training for our mentors just to make sure that they engage with you where you are. We understand that not everybody comes from the same background when you come to a national lab. So some of you are not going to have, experience being in a national laboratory. So we want to make sure they have the skill set to, again, meet you where you are.
Thank you. We'll go to the back.
Hello, my name is Shnao Olabisi. I'm from Connecticut State University. Connecticut State College. I wanted to ask Dr. Bala, as a robotic engineer, should I go for the scholarship or should I go for the fellowship, or are both good?
So you are eligible for both of those opportunities. Goldwater scholarship allows for students with a primary interest in engineering and robotics is in that broader engineering computing fields, although it's a newer field. So they don't explicitly state robotics, but you could definitely apply under the engineering category. Now for the fellowship, we are offering fellowships in 3 specific emerging fields within the STEM, which is biotechnology, quantum computing, as well as space engineering. Now, robotics has a wider reach in all 3 areas. You think about surgery, biomedical robotic surgeries, and so, as well as in quantum computing, the computational aspect can carry over both in robotics field as well as in the computational aspects of quantum computing. That might be a little bit of a stretch, but definitely within the space engineering, yes, you can apply for that fellowship.
All right, thank you so much. Oh, okay.
Great. I believe you have a light blue shirt on in the back.
That's correct. Can you hear me okay? Okay, good. When you mentioned that you were an astrophysicist, can you tell me what the field is? Hello. Can you tell me what the field is like? Because I'm curious about it, and I just want to know what the day-to-day life is being an astrophysicist.
Sure. Hi. Hi there. Yeah. So I'm Daniel LeQuanet. My research is in astrophysics. I'm specifically a stellar astrophysicist, so I study stars like the sun and other stars. And in particular, my work is in theoretical and in specifically computational astrophysics. So I'm running computer simulations. For instance, I've done work with through NASA or NSF, so we're using some of the big supercomputers around the nation to run numerical simulations of what we think is going on in stars. What does the day-to-day look like? Well, I'm staring at my computer trying to debug code. I think this is what is true for many quantitative fields these days. I think that's something that's important is to, when thinking about fields to work in, is to both be very interested in the big picture questions. Of course, I think stars are really cool. You look up in the sky, you want to see what's going on. But also at the same time to enjoy the day-to-day things. Because if you don't, then kind of the big picture motivation might not be quite enough. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, excuse me. Yes, thank you, it does. And also, I'm kind of excited because I want to work in space, and I'm a computer science major, and it seems like there is computer science in here, and that's awesome. So I'm glad that's the case.
Great combination.
Woo. Any computer scientists, others in the room? You can clap, raise your hand, do something. Celebrate your discipline. That's great. We'll go to, it looks like you've got a patterned blazer. I think that's right.
Hi, my name is Daphne. I go to James Madison University in Virginia. And my question is for Dr. Porter for the MD PhD route. What is the #1 thing that admissions recruiters look for this program, when they're applying? What's one thing that distinguishes a lot of them for the accepted candidates?
Thank you for the question, and a very good one. Our admissions committee is really looking for one, research experience, and so certainly the ability to sell yourself, talk about all of your scientific abilities and accomplishments. It's definitely an art to be able to tell people what you've done and kind of sell yourself in the form of a personal statement or a CV, but certainly practice that. Have friends look through it, have mentors look through it and give you suggestions for improvement. Also, demonstrating that you have a desire to marry seeing patients, serving as a clinician, but also being a researcher. So you want to be a physician scientist, talking about that, how important that will be to your career goals, how you plan to make that work, what type of research you plan to pursue, any particular areas that you want to research. Certainly include all of that in your application is very important.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great. We're going to take, we have a question with in the center with a hat, it looks like, and then the further corner with a dark shirt. And we have one question from Guidebook, and then we'll get to some housekeeping. So please take it away.
Hi, my name's Doug. I'm from, lost my voice, but I'm from Idaho State University in Pocatello, Idaho. With the exception of the last, I can't recall what it was, fourth presenter from the right. The last chance or last stop, I don't know, I took notes and not very well. By a show of like hands, out of the 10 of you, are there any scholarships, grants, anything like that that can be done at your current university without going somewhere else? Thank you.
Great. All right, it looks like we have two questions in the back corner, so we'll get to both of those. Go ahead.
My name is Michael Mode. The only reason why I'm here is because my two professors, Dr. Noblette and Dr. Carducci, were huge mentors and helped me stay in academia, so I just want to shout them out real quick. They're here. My question is for, shout them out. My question is, and I hate to say anybody who wants to undertake it, is I'm 30 years old, so what insight, and my background's in machine learning, what insight can you give to an undergraduate student who has a passion for interdisciplinary research, and is involved in research at his university, but has a hard time performing in like archaic educational frameworks, when I've abstracted a lot of these classes away, but I'm like being forced to like relearn them? And so what insight can you give to that?
First person to raise their hand. Yep, we'll get one answer from the panel.
Yeah, I can go. There are different types of learners, and and some learners have certain strengths and other strengths. That doesn't mean that you won't be an amazing researcher or wherever you go in your career path. You just have to figure out that way that helps you learn the best. So some people are not great with classroom things. You can do YouTube classes. I had to learn cryogenics 1 year. I did a whole YouTube class from a great university. So figure out how you learn best, and then utilize that to build your strengths, and then also work on your weaknesses. And don't let that get in the way of you thinking that you won't be a great researcher, great in your career like everyone else.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Victor from the Community College of Denver. I wanted to ask all of the researchers, what is the importance of not really having much experience in research, however being heavily interested in doing so? I'm a second year sophomore, so I'm kind of new to research.
Dr. Bala?
Thank you for that question. The STEM edX fellowship that we've just launched is designed to bring in students who show a strong interest and desire to do research. We don't require any prior research skills or experience. The mission of this fellowship is to promote student research and experiential learning at their home institutions, or if they find a research project at another university or another lab that they would like to go, but they don't have the funding or the support background. This fellowship provides for those specific types of research experiences. So please do check out the website, and the deadline is December 31st.
I want to also respond to that question. This is usually one of my talking points, so I usually talk much longer, but I was rushing through. So for our programs at the Department of Energy, none of our internships require research experience or technical experience. So our placements consist of a combination of those individuals who've had some experience, those who have not had experience. So we tell you that when you apply to our program, yes, there are going to be some essays that ask you what type of research experience you've had. It's okay to say, I have not had research experience. I'd like to use this opportunity to get that experience. And here's what I'm interested in. So that's where you kind of want to lay the foundation that though you haven't had experience, you can list your interests and also capitalize on your coursework. Your coursework where you can list those types of skills you've gained that can help you with having a research experience. So don't beat yourself up if you haven't had that experience. This is an opportunity for you to mention, this is the reason why I'm applying to this opportunity. If you attend one of our alumni panel discussions, you will hear that from our alumni when I ask them, did they previously have research experience? They'll say no.
Tiffany, did you want a last word?
Yeah, I'll jump in. And I would just say also the desire is there. I mean, you're a sophomore at a STEM conference, so I would say you're right where you need to be in terms of your timeline. But explore that desire and explore the pathways that come with it and have conversations with people, because environments like this is where you can sort of frame that.
All right, the last question from Guidebook. For the Oxford-Cambridge program, can you elaborate on the MD-PhD option? How would the MD portion integrate into this? I understand that for other MD-PhD programs, most start their first years of MD work, complete their PhD portion, and then finish their MD.
Thank you for the question. The same is true for our program. It's a 2-4-2 split. So the first 2 years of medical school are completed. That's typically your coursework, core curriculum. You then take a leave of absence from your home medical institution, come to do the PhD via the NIH Oxford-Cambridge Scholars Program, 4-year program, complete the PhD, go back to your medical school to finish the final 2 years. Hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, I think so. And if not, they can find you for more information or visit the website. But could we all give a round of applause to our wonderful speakers?